Okay, I think we're good. Oh shit, I forgot to. Hold on. Where the fuck is my stuff? Where is it going live? All right, here we go. Live. Hopefully everyone can see me and hear me. Let me know. Can you hear? Can you see me? Hey, hey. Can you hear? Can you see me? Hey, hey. All right, I'm gonna stop. Um, Let me hit send. Okay, that. Where is Twitter at? Where's the twatters? Oh, there we go. Let me see live. All right, there we go. I think we're good. All right, so ladies and gentlemen, I hope you can hear and see me. Sorry about the weird delay. Um, I kind of got distracted with some nonsense. And my mother decided to call right before. By the way, there can't be a state for Xbox if it's already dead. You fucking savage, you. Relax. We just started the stream, man. What's with this? What's this evil energy we on? Okay, so I'll be real here. I only looked this up. So what brought this video on was mainly because I started hearing a bunch of news of people feeling some type of way about some recent happenings in the Xbox line, and apparently a well-known Xbox uh, leaker had said some things about how Xbox wasn't happy. No, that Microsoft wasn't happy with the state of Xbox currently, and so I figured we would kind of talk about it and shoot the shit a little bit. Also, thank you for the notification that I went live, YouTube. I appreciate it. Um, but and I got completely distracted. Oh, side note, I think it was Orion. It was Orion or Donnie. Somebody said in the chat during the Fire Emblem stream from a couple days ago. There was like a character that I was gonna get spoiled on, and someone was like, "The person who's known for spoiling shit is Lightning." Well, give you a spoiler. He proceeds to spoil me on the character he was referring to in the Fire Emblem DLC by fucking by fucking sending me a picture of the character and sending me the character's picture, and I'm just like, for someone who's not trying to prove people wrong, you end up proving them right a little bit too frequently, Lightning, and he does. He absolutely does. So we're gonna shoot the shit here and talk about some stuff. It's not gonna be just Xbox, but we do want to have a conversation here. And I'm thinking this time I might try to do Discord call and let you guys get into the conversation. Mainly because when it comes to this kind of stuff, it's better not to get one person's opinion versus like everybody else's. Okay, like yeah, he does spoil a lot. He needs to cut all that dumb shit out. So yeah, I might let the Discord squad get in here and have the conversation because Xbox has been in a weird place as of the last few years. I almost want to say like, yeah, like the last few years it's been like all over the place. But before we get into that, let's talk about Disney. Let's talk about Disney and what's currently going on with their new ventures. So I saw that they finally have the other Spider-Man films on Disney Plus, which is great because those are quality films and they deserve to be on that platform because you got everything else on that bitch. Why the hell can I get my Spider-Man, my Spooder-Man, god damn it? Um, I'm actually logging into Disney Plus as we speak. No thanks. Is that just all the original? Yeah, it's Spider-Man 1, 2, and 3. The Amazing Spider-Man. Uh, they didn't get the Amazing Spider-Man 2? Oh, it's trash. You tell me you didn't get Spider-Man. You didn't get the Amazing Spider-Man 2? What kind of shit is that? Hold on. Because I'm about to be offended. Yeah, that's OG Spider-Man. That's 2 and 3. That's the Amazing Spider-Man. Bruh, what? Bruh, what? What are we doing? You didn't even get Spider-Man. Oh, they added Spectacular Spider-Man. Absolutely goated. Absolutely goated. I get kind of. I'm still annoyed they don't have Amazing Spider-Man 2, but shit, man, Spectacular Spider-Man is that show, bro. Absolutely. Why do you not have Amazing Spider-Man 2? That just pisses me off because there's no reason why. That's the only Spider-Man film you don't have. Is that Sony was like, I want to keep that one. Like, that's the one you wanted to hold on to? The fuck? But whatever, bro. Whatever. But yeah, so we're talking about Disney, not even over that. The Spider-Man require them finally getting the movies on Disney Plus is a nice thing because I definitely have a reason now to go back and watch Spectacular Spider-Man because Spectacular Spider-Man is a great show. I just didn't get to finish it the way I wanted it to. So now, is it just the first season? It better not be the first season, you bitch. Oh, they're doing that. That doesn't look right. I'm pretty sure Spectacular Spider-Man has multiple seasons, doesn't it? No. We are talking about Xbox, but I wanted to kind of go into that. Okay, that's what I thought. Okay, so for Spectacular Spider-Man, they only added the first season, which is kind of a problem, but okay. And then we're missing the Amazing Spider-Man 2, so what the fuck? But the reason why we're going to bring up Disney in the first place is because of what's been going on with the Lilo and Stitch situation. So if you've been on my like Twitch streams, you've already heard me talk about this to some degree. That like the Lilo and Stitch situation kind of got out of hand because they started casting people, and people were cool with Lilo's casting. People were cool with a couple of them. I think Jumba's. I think was another. Was it Jumba's? It was Jumba's. And then they found out about what they're doing to Bubbles, and then what they're doing to Nani. And I always forget Nani's not boyfriend's name. And all of a sudden, people were like, bro, what the fuck are you doing? And people were mad at Nani just because, like, that can't be Nani. I bet she ain't even Hawaiian, which I think she is. I think the actress playing Nani is Hawaiian. Someone can correct me if I'm wrong on that, but from what I remember looking up, she is Hawaiian. So the irony is that, like, she is the race she's supposed to be, but people are still mad as fuck. And some people are like, why? Some people are mad, and then some people are kind of enjoying the anger. And the reason why there's a bunch of people enjoying, myself included, I'm enjoying the anger, is, yeah, exactly. She's Hawaiian, but they don't like the fact that she doesn't look Hawaiian, which, you know, sounds a little offensive in its own right. And what I find hilarious about it is after all these years of race swapping doesn't matter and all this other fucking nonsense, now that it's happened in a situation they don't like, now the shoe's on the other foot, and now they want to get mad about it. And here's my thing: if you thought it was okay in all these other different movies and shows and other just entertainment properties for them to like hire an actress who doesn't, or actor who doesn't fit the skin tone you think they should be, like, now you have to deal with it. Because the kicker is that she is actually the right race. You just don't like the way she looks, which, you know, is colorism at its finest, which ironically enough is what people are claiming with this woman. Oh, it's colorism. They of course they wouldn't choose a darker skinned woman. Oh, I thought it was about her picking an actress that like fits her character, like that did a good job. Maybe she's a good actress. Nah, man, colorism. Okay, so when we said it about the race swapping and how it was a problem, then it wasn't a fucking problem. Now it's a fucking problem because she's lighter than what Nani was. And part of me is like, if you talked shit to us who were complaining about race swaps before, but now are on our side and want us to like rock with you. I'm not fucking doing that shit. Cause you weren't on that shit. You only care now because now it's closer to home. See, when you fuck with a character of color, then it's a fucking problem. Everybody else can go eat a dick. I don't like that double standard, and that's unfortunately what's happened. What's happened is they've essentially said, you know what we're gonna do? We're gonna fuck up the whole game, and like we're gonna complain about the thing that we already told you a while ago was a problem, but now you view it as a problem. And now I don't give a shit. You know why I don't give a shit? Because y'all said this shit was okay. So now they're gonna do it whenever the fuck they want to do it. Well, and you can, and in this case, the issue, the irony of the Lilo and Stitch problem has nothing to do with the race swap, at least for Nani. If we're talking about Nani specifically, Nani is technically being cast by a Hawaiian woman. The reason why people are mad is because she's not dark enough for Hawaiian, which to me is offensive in its own right, because what you're essentially saying is she has to be dark. There's a dark quota for you to be considered Hawaiian for these motherfuckers. And I'm like, but y'all got mad at us when they completely flipped genders for characters. But the whole colorism argument is somehow that's the justifiable argument, and I'm just like, I can't be bothered to care about your cause. Not because it's not even that it's not genuine, but because you didn't give a fuck about authenticity for the rest of this content. You only care because it affects you personally, not because it was been an inherent problem. So my argument is this: if you want me to help you and fight with you against the Nani situation, then you have to admit that the other times you were a part of the problem. You openly engaged and enabled this shitty behavior, and it became to persist through the course of all content. The ironic part is that they complain about getting new characters of a certain race or gender, but want established characters to be race swap, gender swap, because they know that a lot of the new characters aren't dick. That, like, realistically, there's only been a handful of like original characters who have stuck out to the point where they become main. I think Harley Quinn is probably the best example of that. A character who was made for a show and was so interesting and compelling, they said, we gotta bring her back. We gotta do more with her. Like, that's the standout. In most cases, original characters are kind of thrown out when the show dies. Harley Quinn is the exception to that rule and like stood above her show. Granted, her show was goated regardless. Like, fucking Batman the Animated Series is a goated show. So if you're going to be introduced in anywhere, that is a good show to be introduced in. But like a lot of these newer shows with these new characters being added on top of pre-existing ones, they just don't hang. They can't hang because they don't have the history. They don't have the development. Like, if anything, they're going to just put in there using some self-insert BS. And that shit's important to acknowledge because modern, I mean, we can get into it. So here's the thing. I know a lot of people are a fan of Harley Quinn's show, right? The Harley Quinn show the HBO Max has been doing. I'm not a fan of it mainly because of how it's handled. These are the same people complaining about we were mad at us about Ariel. Oh, she's a fish. This is what they told us. She's a fish. She's a fish. Why would you care about the race of a fish? Now I'm asking you, why would you care about the darkness of a Hawaiian skin? Your issue isn't even the fact that she's Hawaiian. Your issue is that she's not dark enough for you, bitch. What? Why does it matter? The point is that you have a Hawaiian woman playing a Hawaiian character. What's your issue? Oh, she's too white for you. Oh, now it comes out. Like, the fuck? But yeah, Harley Quinn, so just to get back on that real quick. The Harley Quinn show I don't think is a bad show by any means, but it definitely is not for me because the Harley Quinn show for me is an interpretation. There are parts of the Harley Quinn show I fuck with. I like the fact that like Harley Quinn was helping Bruce deal with like his trauma. That's actually a nice concept, and it ties back into her days as a psychologist. Like, that shit made perfect sense. The problem is that the way Harley Quinn show is set up is that show is set up from the perspective that like everyone around her is idiots to some degree. Like, Like it feels like characters got inherently dumbed down to some degree for that show to work, which kind of bums me out because it almost is implying that Harley Quinn doesn't work as a show if you had the same level of competence throughout the entire of the show, whereas everyone else is kind of like dickhead. Superman's a dickhead, Wonder Woman's a dickhead, Joker's a dickhead, even Batman's a dickhead. Like she's like it feels like Harley Quinn's the only one operating at her normal mental capacity while also having other characters be fucking dickheads. And I'm like, I see what you're doing, but it's just not it's not appealing, I guess, to me because it doesn't feel like she can hang. That's why I kind of like some of the DC animated films. Ironically enough, I like her in Injustice. The problem is in Injustice, it's like alternate universe shit. So like, I like her. I like her as an anti-hero. Like the Harley Quinn show has aspects I like. Even her dealing with her fucked up family. Those are cool things I like. Her relationship with Poison Ivy, perfectly fine. Makes sense. She's always kind of been in that position. And considering the guy she dated before, I think she, ironically enough, a woman who's immune to toxins is kind of beneficial in this situation. Also, fuck you, Lightning, for spoiling your character when people made fun of you for spoiling stuff and you proceed to still spoil it anyway. So you are inherently a liar and a part of the problem, Lightning. Just need you to know that. And I'm talking about the Fire Emblem stuff, just to give context. That was a spoiler. You knew it was a spoiler. You just didn't care. The theme of this generation, I feel like, is everything is offensive. Oh, definitely. So much nonsense people complain about in this day and age. This is why I love the 80s and 90s. It feels like we were less sensitive back then. That's true. And here's the argument though. Batwoman is beyond a boring and dull character. So here's my thing. I don't want to act like this generation is completely screwed because there's a lot of things in this generation that do need to be taken up and dealt with, like the importance of mental health, recognizing your mental stress, and like recognizing your worth as a man or a woman. Like there's a bunch of things. Hi, Cosmic. There's a bunch of things going on that this generation. I think realistically, this generation, in some ways, will end up raising more mentally stable men and women. The problem is that unfortunately, it feels like the old generation was very much on that like capital punishment. Like you just gonna get your ass whooped, like, and you're gonna suck it up, which is very toxic advice to tell like kids. Like back in realistically, we grew up around it and we're fine. But there's a lot of people in like our parents' generation who are starting to come to terms with like, you know what? I don't think that was necessarily the right way of handling things. And because that's how they were taught, that's how they taught us. And some of us had the wherewithal to follow them, not at all. Some of us followed them a little bit, and some of us followed them completely. So that's why you have our generation that now has like a string of different thought processes and like mental decisions where like some of us very much believe in like whooping our kids and like violence is the answer, or just punishment, like a physical punishment is an answer. A lot of us have also learned how to like talk to children, but then we also got the part of our generation who get walked over by their fucking kids. Like we're very much in the middle of trying to figure all this shit out. And I don't want to act like this generation had nothing to contribute, but like the problem is that I feel like we grew up in so far right conditions. We are now growing up in a transitioning back to left, or well, I'll say this: we're going back to a midway point that now feels like it's transitioning far left. And all that's gonna happen is the same shit that happened with the right. People are gonna realize that some of this shit is just fucking stupid. But that's the problem with people. We gotta reach a balance. We gotta reach an equilibrium of understanding that mental health and emotions and anxiety are real disorders. And like these are things that need to be handled differently than the way of your grandparents who just said, fuck it, I'm getting a belt and I'm about to beat the shit out of you until you stop being depressed. That's not like a legit answer. People just kind of dealt with the trauma and like mental stress and the shit built up over the time until adults, they just fucking lost their minds and started doing crazy shit like killing people or themselves. Like, obviously, we can't go that route, but we also can't have this route where everything is emotional, everything is offensive, everything is a disorder. It's almost like you're excusing every shitty part of your life or every shitty thing you do on some sort of like pre-existing condition because you looked up WebMD and found that you had like one of the 17 symptoms and said, well, I must be ADHD riddling then all of a sudden. When really some of it is just us as adults not getting our shit together. Like not looking at ourselves in the mirror and going, you fucked up, do fucking better. A lot of it's turned into, well, I got ADHD, I got depression, I have anxiety, I'm fucking non-binary, and my emotions are out of whack. My horoscope's on the wrong side of the fucking astral plane. Like, unfortunately, these all are like excuses for everything. Well, I'm bipolar. Well, I'm fucking antisocial. Well, like, you can't blame everything on some sort of fucking disorder because then there's no accountability. The accountability is you telling me that you have a disorder, but that doesn't really fix the problem. And I think that's the important thing to be understood, that we're currently in a generation where we're fucking constantly trapped in this thought process that like everything isn't your fault. It's the disorder's fault. It's your shitty parents and their shitty grandparents and the shitty society and the patriarchy and the capitalism and the we can't there's no. And that's the problem. We're going to eventually hit that point where everybody's going to stop and taking accountability. And we're going to have to redirect back into the middle. Hopefully. The problem is that every generation, there's some damage. Like the fucking far right side of the generation that we're coming out of is where a lot of us have a bunch of untapped trauma and like emotional issues that never were addressed because who the fuck told you to go and have fun? Who the fuck told you to think a therapist was something you needed? Who the fuck told you not to just suck it up and just deal with it? And so now you got a bunch of people in their 40s and 50s who are like, dude, I actually have a bunch of issues I need to work out. I probably should go to therapy. Probably should just actually go to therapy. And then we don't because we weren't raised to go to therapy. We weren't taught, we were not incentivized to look at mental health. If anything, it's always viewed as a sense of like, it's viewed as a sense of weakness. That's how it's viewed. It's like, oh, you went to the fucking therapist, you coward. Like how fucking dare you? It's the same thing that gets men screwed over in certain social. Like, you can blame women for some of the fucked up things they do, absolutely, but some of it is also men persuading other men to be like stupid. For example, when a man is sexually assaulted, men will clown other men about being sexually assaulted. Like, that wasn't sexual assault. You're just not used to getting your D wet, or you're not used to like, or you just being a bitch about it. Like, you just had sex, bro. You should be excited, but you're not excited because you feel violated because you were. But like, on top of the woman being able to get away with it, part of it is because men and women perpetuate the society in which a woman taking advantage of a man or a woman manhandling a man makes the man look bad 100% of the time, which is not fair. I mean, it's the reason why you have a lot of these like red pill podcasts talking about wanting traditional men and traditional women. The problem is, and the reality is this, men and women have changed. Like, we are just not the same anymore. And that's perfectly fine. Hey, what's up, Ursa Ringer? I don't know if I said it. I feel like I didn't, but if I did, hey, what's up, Ursa Ringer? But like, men and women are not the same anymore. There are men who are masculine and feminine. There are women who are masculine and feminine. And the reality is that the way you are is going to require a certain kind of woman or a certain kind of man or whatever, right? Don't tie that shit to like gender roles as much. Like, it's listen, a relationship will always be a stereotypical heterosexual relationship will always be based in some level of gender roles. The main thing I always talk about when it comes to people and when it comes to relationships is you should only be dealing with open-minded people. Open-mindedness is very important to me because if you're not willing to accept a foreign concept and have a conversation about it, that means that then we can never do anything new. I can never suggest anything new to you. I can never talk about anything new to you. The advantage of a partner is that you should be able to talk and think and connect about anything, even if you disagree. But if the person you're with has no interest in engaging you in conversation and talking about topics, regardless of how serious or non-serious there is, then like, what's the fucking point? Like, why are we together if it feels like I have to tiptoe around you? Yeah, Chidori, that's exactly what happens, bro. I get into a mood and I start talking about other shit. Well, hey, listen, I'll bring it back to some. I'm gonna make it even weirder. Hey guys, if you're looking for some cool merch, uh, I got a shirt out, right? I got a shirt out. Check out the shirt. Get yourself a Life's a Game shirt. Oh my god, my phone's about to go off like a crazy. But yeah, sorry, play the wind battles. uh, yeah, I was just talking about other stuff. Sorry, I got distracted. But yeah, open communication is essential. The problem is a lot of people don't do it because let's be real here. When I would think when dating, no one's really gonna bring up masculine and feminine roles naturally. Like the way that'll probably come up is more in like actions, like how she feels about paying for dates. Because let's be real here, if men need to change about how they view women, women need to change about how they view men. That like men shouldn't always be having to do everything, this, that, and the third in the early stages of dating. Like, because I think if anyone knows a YouTuber named Hot Damn I Rock, who still makes videos, but it's very different than his old content. One of the videos that I think clicked with me back then was the Hi, I'm Superman video. And to give full context, that video's premise was simply that the reason why men are more eager to leave you once they have sex with you is because to get to sex, because women control the entrance for sex, women that means women have to view you highly enough to want to have sex with you. So the harder you make me work means that I've already made you like me more than you've made me like you because I'm trying to have sex with you at least, right? So I gotta make myself look like I'm Superman to you. I gotta be like Superman for you. And that's fine because I'm doing it because I like you and I do want to have sex with you. But the thing is that what makes me want to stay once I have sex with you is what did you do during the time I was impressing you? The time and effort I put in to show you how strong and super I am by, taking you out on dates, buying you this, that, and the third, being like a supportive male presence in your life, whatever the fuck, right? I did all those things to the point where you were like, you know what? He's been a really good guy. I've had a lot of good time with him. I'm really digging him. Let's have sex. Cool. We have sex. Now I'm sitting there in the corner and going, okay, I got the core. I got like the initial thing I wanted. What else about her makes me want to stay? And then he turns over and looks at you and he's like, nothing. Because you ain't done nothing. You ain't done nothing to maintain interest or like romantic feelings. Like there's nothing going on. So when he happens is he looks and he's like, well, I've already had sex with her. I have nothing else. Oh, Jesus. There was no the transition didn't make sense. I want to make sure make sense of that. We kind of just I think we initially started talking about Disney and the Nani situation, and then it kind of just snowballed into like dating and romance and all that other stuff. But we can talk about Xbox because I know people are very confused as why did things turn out the way they did. Hey man, I'm a guy who likes to talk and I got a lot on my mind. And sometimes it just transitions. I also didn't want to immediately get into Xbox because I don't know if I have enough opinions to last for another hour and a half. But once again, I'm probably going to open up the Discord. I'm going to give like my little spiel and then give you guys an opportunity to like talk to me in the Discord about it, right? So here we go. According to Microsoft executive, a forthcoming title from the Redacted franchise may take a decade to develop. So yeah, let's talk about Xbox. So there's been talk a lot recently because of Redfall. Apparently, Redfall isn't going to be 60 frames when it first comes out. People are talking about delaying the game. So that's one thing. The conversation of whether or not Starfield's coming out this year and when we're going to see more footage of that. People are talking about that. Then there's been talks about Hi-Fi Rush, where Hi-Fi Rush was a very well-reviewed and positively viewed game. But from what I heard, from what we've been hearing, is that Microsoft said it didn't really do what it was supposed to do, which confuses me because you shadow dropped the game. So what expectations did you have for a shadow drop game? Especially for it's a new IP that's been shadow dropped. Like, I don't understand what the goal was for Hi-Fi Rush, because there's been talks about Microsoft being like, well, Hi-Fi Rush just didn't meet expectations. And I'm like, in what way? What expectations did you even have? Also, what's up, Melvin? What expectations did you even have for Hi-Fi Rush to be like, it didn't meet them? Because I'm almost feeling like this is a Square Enix situation with fucking Tomb Raider again, where, oh, it sold like 6 million copies. Well, we thought it would sell 7. Like, bitch, what? I don't understand. And I guess this is important because we're in a weird situation. We're in a weird situation when it comes to Xbox, because Xbox still has third-party titles. They're still getting stuff on Game Pass. And we have like maybe a couple of titles that are coming out, like Redfall and supposedly Starfield. And then we got a bunch of titles that we've known about that haven't really shown anything. And so people are like, what's going on with Xbox? And I'm like, I mean, let's be real here. As someone who owns a Series X, I can tell you the console itself is great. I actually enjoy the console a lot. The problem with Xbox is the console is not enough to prop up interest in like a whole system constantly, with a couple of like maybe with the occasional good game that comes out. Like, I just, hold on. Sorry. Microsoft saying Hi-Fi Rush wasn't successful is low-key disrespectful to the devs, considering Halo was in terrible shape. Be nice if they make some games that have all these studios remember that. He is a high up for Xbox like Phil Spencer is. Well, I mean, it's just, and people need to be for real about this. People like to talk all this good shit about Xbox and Game Pass. And here's the thing. Game Pass doesn't make me want to buy consoles because you put it on so many fucking things. Like, PC players have no real reason to buy Game Pass. I mean, to buy an Xbox console. And right now, you don't have exclusive content that really takes advantage of the whole, well, you know, since you got Game Pass, you can get day and date Xbox exclusives on Game Pass. I'm like, yeah, but you don't release anything. Like there's not enough coming out for that art. Like, if you were making releases like Nintendo, like if you had a game, like even what's come out this year for Nintendo, if Nintendo had Nintendo Game Pass and had that whole, you can just subscribe to Nintendo Game Pass and like get all these new game releases when they come out, like immediately. That means more for Nintendo than it would for Xbox, because Xbox doesn't release first-party titles. Actually, of the 3 companies, they release the least amount of first-party titles. So I'm sitting there going, why do I care about that part of your sales pitch when you don't release enough content? Now, that might change, and it might become more interesting as time progresses, but I'm thinking about it, I'm like, oh, wait, this has been a problem for a fucking while now, hasn't it? And we're all in the back like, you know what? He's got a point. This has been a problem for a while. Redfall, Starfield, Minecraft Legends, Forza Motorsport, Sword and Fairy 7, Eondin Chronicles, Silk Song is also coming in the Game Pass. So I can't think of a lot of exclusive Xbox games that would entice me to buy the console right now. No, and that's the problem. It's a good console, but you don't have a lot of reason to buy it. Like, it's a great console. Like, as someone who's owned it and been playing a bunch of games off it, I now have, I'll probably say, a handful of games. Resident Evil 4 I've been playing on it. Elden Ring I've been playing on it. Bought Psychonauts 2, played on it, and what is the other one? Oh, Sonic Frontiers. Sonic Frontiers. I even have like the Pac-Man game repack on it. All those games play well. So it's not like the console's bad. The problem is that I have no reason to like say, hey man, you should buy an Xbox One, Xbox Series X, Xbox Series S. Because those don't sound similar at all. Like, oh no, definitely. Xbox is definitely perfect for casual gamers. I actually think that's what it's built for. The problem is it's still not it's missing a couple of killer apps to really push to the casual gamer though. It's all about options. Oh no, definitely it is. But like, who the hell wants to spend $500 to casually play games on Game Pass? Games that you can easily get on like 3 other consoles in most cases, or at least 2 of them. Like, does it have value? Oh, absolutely. Does it have enough value? I don't know if I feel about that. Yeah, that was bad timing on me. PC over Xbox and Sony for me. A lot of people are going in that direction anyway, especially with Sony games ending up on PC regardless. Granted, that's going to be a slower process, but still, the fact that it's starting is enough for some people. That's the other thing. They do rotate. But you are right, Mel. They stay on there for a bit. But the rotation doesn't help. Nobody wants... my problem with that is that unlike something like the Nintendo Switch Online that will be an ever-building library, rotating games means that they're allowed to still tout these weird numbers of how many titles people have played or how many titles have been on the system, on Game Pass, and then like cut them out, throw them away because they don't have rights to them because they're not their games. No, I don't think. No, you can't. Night already said that their games will be on PC day one going forward. Yeah, and at that point, I'm like, people are just like, okay, first party games will always be in the service. Well, yeah, definitely. But here's the problem, Mohammed. There aren't a lot of first party games that people give a fuck about, and the ones that they have that kind of work, they don't really push. Like Hi-Fi Rush is a game that I think generally had a bunch of goodwill behind it when it came out and people reviewed it. And it suffered because you fucking stealth dropped it. And you didn't really promote it. It kind of just exists. And then had the nerd to be like, well, it didn't do well. And I'm like, you shadow dropped it. The fuck are you talking about did it do well? It's a shadow drop game. Fuck you. I think Phil's tried. I'll never sit here and say Phil didn't try. Phil definitely tried to do better and to like push the Xbox brand. But part of his struggle was he was doing an uphill battle. He already was dealing with a company that already had a bunch of terrible relationships. His fan base, unfortunately, the Xbox fan base is extremely closed-minded and have essentially locked themselves out of doing anything new and having new experiences. The only thing fucking Xbox fans care about is like 3 or 4 titles, which are either like shooting games, usually Call of Duty or some shit, something like GTA, maybe, and then maybe something like Fortnite, like or Minecraft. Like they have like this box they're chilling in, and they like their box. They like the box a lot. They're like, ooh, I'm in my safe little box. Everything's like nice and protective, and I can chill with turning to one corner GTA 5. Turn to this corner, Call of Duty Modern Warfare 6 or whatever the fuck. Turn in this corner, Minecraft Legends. And then turn back to this corner, Forza. Or maybe up here is fucking NBA 2K 2029 or some shit. And fucking Halo in the background. Like, that's the problem. That, like, they're in this bubble and they have no interest or no need to fall out of it except with the occasional Elden Ring that grabs them by the arm and goes, whoo! God damn! Oh shit! Look at the world. There's so many games that I could have been playing. Damn! It's crazy. Hey, Static. But yeah, sorry. I feel like I pulled myself and took the wind out of myself, and then had to like regain consciousness, and then I walked back in here and I was like, I made it, whoo, and then just proceeded to black out. Oh shit! You know what? Sure, let's get in it. I haven't really done this before, so let's see how people feel about it. So, if you are a part of the Discord, which I've had links in the link tree and on Twitch, like there's been ways to get into the Discord. So if you're not in the Discord already, then get in the Discord. Shit. Hold on. But we're gonna get here and talk about Xbox. Make this a group discussion. Have some quality conversation going on. I will be in gamer chat, waiting for anyone who wants to show up. Was that the right one? And we're gonna just talk. They will hear you on the YouTubes, and remember this is YouTube, so be careful. Yo. Wait, Last Space Cowboy. What? Sir, you're gonna have to give me the actual username because I'm like, who the hell is that?
All right, hold on. Let me post it in the chat.
Wait, where chat are you posting in?
YouTube.
Oh. So I know who. Oh. Oh, of course. Well, man, give me your thoughts of the pressures and give me how you feeling? How are you feeling about the state of because we like to talk about we got our big three companies. We got our Nintendo, our Sony, and our Xbox. And to me, and I've said this for a while, Xbox to me has never really contributed a lot to the gaming sphere other than online play. That is their claim to fame is the ability to play online and the online gaming experience. And I'm not trying to devalue it. It's a very important aspect of gaming, and people fucking love it. We all indulge and love it. So
Well,
go
my
ahead.
whole thing is that I've always been neutral when it comes to Xbox, right? So it's like they've never wowed me or anything, but I still like the brand. The issue that Xbox has now is that they don't have core IPs that can compete with Nintendo and Sony.
I don't think I think that stopped during
That no, no, that's not that.
the 360 era was the only time they had a couple IPs that really could put hands on their titles.
Yeah,
Which
but you know what it is that those weren't their IPs though. That's the problem. They
well,
needed those IPs since day one.
well, the problem is they never expanded on their IPs. Like my thing with Sony is to just give context. Like Sony, I don't like the way they handle things either, where they just essentially burn through an IP and then rotate it out for a different IP going into the next console generation. Most IPs with Sony now only last maybe 2 generations and then they're kind of gone. But at least they're adding in new IPs. It feels like, and even Nintendo, I think, in recent generations has re-kicked their new IP wheels with things like Splatoon. They've started catching steam, and then they've tried different stuff like ARMS in the beginning of the Switch's life cycle. Like the issue with Xbox is that we didn't get like a new version of what Blinks the Cat could have been in like the 360 era or the Xbox One era. It was very much we're gonna ride this Forza, Halo, and Gears train the whole way through, and you can still have those IPs be your biggest hitters, right? But you should be making some smaller moves in the back. Like Hi-Fi Rush actually has the potential to be another like one of those like double A games that we fuck with, but doesn't necessarily like isn't necessarily on the same level as a Halo, because not every IP is a fucking like is a Zelda, is a Nathan Drake. Okay, you can have
Yeah,
smaller titles and persist through your IPs. I mean, because then you have resurgences. Like that's kind of what happened with Fire Emblem for Nintendo. Fire Emblem was literally considered a niche franchise for a while, and then when Awakening came out and it was like last ditch effort, that game blew up and kind of researched the entire IP. And although that IP doesn't make nearly as much as Mario or Zelda or Pokemon, it now is another name that has become synonymous with Nintendo that people recognize. Hell, that's kind of what happened with fucking Bayonetta. Bayonetta went through the same shit where Bayonetta was always like a cult classic, but it's gained more notoriety because they were just willing to invest time in it. Some of these IPs you're gonna have to play the long game with. It's not gonna be this fucking like you put it out
Well,
and it blows up and it's crazy. But Xbox doesn't want to invest in that shit.
it's also the fact that people trust Nintendo when it comes to IPs.
Well, yeah, but like
There's no level of trust when it comes to like let's say if we get a new Halo game, it's like going forward, is it going to be good? You don't question that when it comes to Zelda or something like Uncharted or maybe The Last of Us. Well,
right.
Microsoft, you're always questioning whether you're going to get a quality game.
That's true, and part of it's because they don't have really a lot. For a while, they didn't have in-house developers. A lot of that shit was
I don't. At this point, considering you bought all these, studios, like I don't. There's no excuse at this point for me going forward. You cannot excuse anything from Xbox.
oh no, I would agree. Like I'm not I'm tired of cutting them slack. My issue is that like Xbox hasn't like here's my thing. Everyone has a rough generation. Nintendo just got out of theirs with the Wii U, right? Dog, it feels like both the Series X and the Xbox One generation have been rough. And the Series X, it makes even less sense because the console wasn't a piece of shit and didn't even start off with like a bad gimmick. It was a strong console. The bitch is it was properly made. There's nothing really wrong with the
Well,
Series X. But the problem is you just didn't put any fucking games out on it, which was the same issue the Xbox One had. At a certain point, we're just sitting there looking at the Xbox One and going, fuck, where
well,
are the
here's my
games
thing,
at?
right? Here's my thing. Like Microsoft, they've already admitted they're losing money when it comes to Game Pass, right? So it's like you're the richest when it comes to the big three. Like you have to spend that money and play the long game to get all these IPs on your system. Like appeal to the Japanese market. You know, build your brand better. You know, get more IPs that are more varied. Like Nintendo has Zelda, Mario, Fire Emblem, Splatoon. You got all these different franchises that you're not putting yourself in just one box, which Xbox has done.
Yeah. And I don't want, and like I said, I want to give him credit. I think Phil Spencer genuinely tried during the Xbox One era to get the Japanese gamer. There were a lot of pushes. There were a lot of Japanese games that premiered on E3 under the Xbox's like event. Like I think they genuinely tried to get an Xbox to get like Japanese publishers and developers to kind of push on their systems, which is fine. The core problem is that unfortunately they had already built this very closed minded audience, and some people like to pretend like that's not like a genuine statement. It is. It happens all the fucking time that like Xbox gamers just don't play outside of their realm.
Well, it's not hard for them to dig themselves out of this hole. It's just that they're not willing to spend the money for it.
But here's my thing: how you gonna buy all these fucking companies, but you can't come up with consistent IPs?
Well,
As
that's what I said. Like me and my friends talk about. I keep saying Microsoft has hundreds of studios, but every game they have is always on the horizon. We never get to a point where we actually get that game being released.
And if we do get it, it's like mediocre as fuck. Ironically enough, they've had smaller titles that work well. Like their success has more come from buying studios that were already making quality games. Like when Ori
And
came.
that's a problem. That's a problem. Like you can do that when you already like Nintendo can buy any studio they want now and slack on their first party games. It's like we know we're gonna get the game. Microsoft can't afford to do that. Well,
So
they can, but they just don't want to do it.
well, it's more building trust, building consumer trust. Like
Yeah, but we're how many generations are we in with Xbox now?
this is their fourth
And
officially.
people still don't 100% trust you. That's a
Well,
problem.
they don't trust you for anything outside of their. Okay, well, Sea of Thieves, Mohammed is kind of an obsession because Sea of Thieves it's become like a long term game. But at this point, I think even most Sea of Thieves fans would go, bro, just give me a sequel. Like the problem with Sea of Thieves is that Sea of Thieves became like this long running game that they just didn't want to like let die to go into a new game. Like Sea of Thieves can easily become one of those smaller titles that progresses over the span of a game cycle. but you got to make a
I
new.
would agree that it deserves a sequel for sure.
Oh, absolutely. Like, because Mohammed, you're bringing up the fact that like, oh, it was successful. Cool. Make a fucking sequel. Like. Actually, you know what? Hold on. When did Sea of Thieves come out? When did Sea of Thieves come out?
Oh Lord, you got me googling.
I'm googling
Well,
right
before
now.
I run my mouth further, like Terrell, am I good to stay?
Oh no, you're
Just wanna
good.
double check.
No, you're good.
Okay.
So Sea of Thieves came out
Okay.
in 2018. This game,
Oh, Lord, is that old?
this game is 5 years old. At this point, there should be a sequel. You should be at least teasing a sequel, even if it doesn't come out this year. If it comes out next year, that's fine. But like, where the fuck is the sequel for your? Well, don't even bring up Grounded to me, dog. Like,
I have a
don't
question,
even.
right?
Nah.
I have a question, right? What do we consider success for Xbox?
Ooh, that's actually a really good question.
I guess the best way I would describe it, unfortunately, is continue support. And the one thing Sea of Thieves did have was consistent support. Like the audience. I think hell, it still gets support now. It's fucking stupid.
Because for me, it's like the bar for success for Xbox is very low. So we
Oh,
can't.
absolutely.
I mean,
No, it
it
is.
could be successful, but it's like how
Well,
do we measure?
Well, even Hi-Fi Rush, I argue, in terms of its reception, was a successful game.
That's a very broad and strong question. I'm thinking
Well,
for real.
It makes no sense for me it makes no sense to me for Xbox to say that it didn't meet up to expectations. It's like,
Well, I don't understand. I don't understand what they wanted to do. That's why I said it reminded me of what Square said about Tomb Raider, the reboot for Tomb Raider. They were like, "Oh, it only sold 3 million. We wanted to sell over 5." And I'm like, "What?"
to me, it's dumb for them to say that. It's like you can't even get Halo under control. So how are you saying that's not successful? But when you look at Halo, it's like
I also
people don't play it anymore.
I don't understand what you would have thought it was gonna make when it's a new IP. You didn't do any marketing for it, and you shadow dropped it. Like,
Which is why I said it's disrespectful to the devs for them to say that.
Yeah, because like, what could you possibly, what could you have possibly wanted it to make? There's no way you were thinking it was gonna make like 3 or 4 million. The fuck, like, and also they currently have a fan base that has no need to buy their games, so it really wasn't gonna make any money because most people were just gonna play it on Game Pass. That's their double-edged sword. When you push for Game Pass, you then can't be surprised when your console sales aren't that high. Why are your console sales not that high? Because everybody's buying fucking Game Pass. So you can sit there and talk about how, man, bro, listen, I swear to God, Game Pass is out here killing it. Well, cool, it is. But that doesn't...
Okay, I'm going to ask an ignorant question then.
Go ahead.
What is the last, first party game that you believe Xbox backed 100%? That's not their big flagship title.
We talk about
Gears
this generation.
I mean, most recent in memory. Like, which one was the one where we're like full? Because I'm thinking about like Rise, Son of Rome being their like.
Sea of Thieves is the only game I'm thinking of right now.
Okay, so
Sea of Thieves was the last game they extensively put their foot all the way out for. They kept showing it in Xbox Insider events and shit. It kept getting DLC.
That's true.
Yeah, but let's be real though. Let's be real. They had to show it because that's the only game they had available.
Well, not but the question was whether or not the game that Xbox was backing. That's the one game I can think of that was consistently backed and supported.
Terrell brings up a valid point about the shadow release. Like, that's the company saying, like, it's out here, I guess. I don't really care if y'all hop on it or not. I don't really care about, like, where
it's like
the IP goes.
It's like
it's here.
Yeah, you're downplaying it.
But you're basically saying somebody else can buy this IP if they want it, because we don't want it.
Well,
I wouldn't even go that far because greedy. But
and let's be real here. If it's like what they've been doing, it'll end up on another console in like the end of the year anyway.
Oh, I don't doubt it. I don't doubt it.
That's what happened to Ori. That's what happened with Cuphead. That's what happened with Super Lucky's Tale. Like they've had IPs that actually have the potential to become their own things, but then they just kind of throw it away to like another console. Like fucking people ask me, "Oh man, you love Cuphead so much. Where'd you play? Oh, Switch. Where'd you play Ori? Switch. Fucking, where'd you play Sunset Overdrive? PC. The fuck, like,
Oh, you played Sunset on PC.
And-
Okay.
I did too, though.
and I'm just like, are those great games? Oh, absolutely. But you don't really synonymize them with Xbox because Xbox doesn't synonymize them with themselves. Also, because they were already,
I think
for some of those companies, they were already making those games when Xbox bought them. Like MDR was
Same
already
with
working.
Psychonauts.
With what?
The same thing with Psychonauts.
Yeah, Psychonauts. Psychonauts was already a pre-existing IP, so people don't look at it and go, "Oh, that's definitely fucking Xbox." Which now they can't even say that because I don't think
I mean, personally, I still think they can turn it around, but I don't think they will. Though.
I don't think they're trying.
I think they're too ignorant to actually get it done.
I can't.
I mean, what are they willing to really make as far as an IP put out there and just back it? That's different. And see how many people
here's
they
my
get.
thing. Because here's my thing. You can if it's smaller titles, that's fine. Like if you got to make another Hi-Fi Rush, like type like in terms of like that kind of game, that's definitely like a AA game, right? I'm perfectly cool with that. But like, make another one. Like Muhammad, you brought up fucking Grounded. Make another one. Like the only thing I think we're getting is what State of Decay 3, which Jesus Christ, that was not. I will always say that was not a game that needed to be announced that early. Probably for one because it's been too damn long, and then two because the second game didn't do well at all. Actually, like what the fuck, like.
So it's like, why are good games getting sequels? Or why are bad games getting sequels?
Well, even same thing with Crackdown. Crackdown 3. How long did it take for that game to come out? And it came out, and people were like, bruh.
Oh, Antri said Hi-Fi wasn't made by Xbox Studios. Let me look at that.
No, yeah, Hi-Fi was made by, I believe it's Bethesda.
Wait, Bethesda? Hold on,
There's
there's no way.
Bethesda game? I'm looking that up. Yeah, I'm just gonna look it up.
I'm gonna just double check, but I think that was Bethesda Studios.
No, it's Tango GameWorks.
Oh, is that what it is?
Oh, yep. Well, published by Bethesda Softworks. There we go.
Okay.
That's what
All
it
right.
was. That's what it was. Got it.
They didn't dev
surprised
it, but they
Bethesda
published it.
this. I'm surprised.
I mean, they tried to like bring Commander King back out of nowhere. Bethesda did, but but this ain't a Bethesda stream. I'm gonna sit out.
Well, I mean, let's be real though. That is a part of Xbox currently.
True.
It is. I enjoyed Commander Keen when I was younger, but it was just so out of nowhere that I was just sitting up like, like I didn't know what to make of it, but they put it out there.
Well, that and we also, it's funny because this company is also the same company that worked on Ghostwire Tokyo, which
This is true.
which came out last year, and I'm like, who published that? Oh, Bethesda. So, and I think that's my issue. Is the other thing? It's not you're publishing games, cool, but like because you're not making them, you're not following up on them. When you think about Sunset Overdrive came out, and that was made by Insomniac, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then what happened right afterwards? Oh, Sony owns Insomniac now.
Yep.
And we're just like, so pretty much that IP's dead. That's what you're telling me, because the company that really brought it to life, you don't have access to anymore.
Well, we got Killer Instinct. Well, no, we don't.
Well, all right.
We had Killer Instinct.
We had Killer
Bad
Instinct,
Galaxy.
but that's another one. But that's still another game. That's another IP you could arguably do something with. Like realistically, Killer Instinct, ironically enough, had a poor launch, but was an actual good game.
Yes, it did.
It was a good
It's
game.
an excellent fighting game.
It's
an excellent fighting game.
Yeah, but once again, lack of fucking support, and so the game died. I think that's what it comes down to.
All I know is that Xbox has nothing to show this year or for the foreseeable future. I don't really see what's to play.
Isn't Starfield coming out this year? And
Yeah, but I can believe it'll get delayed again.
Well, I could too, actually. I could believe.
I'm gonna let the proof speak for themselves. Like,
and then we got what, Redfall in a couple months or in a month or so. I forget.
But like these games are coming up. It's like, but who's excited for it though?
Well, Redfall people weren't. So I know some people were excited for Redfall, and then that drama came out about how the game's gonna be 30 FPS on Xbox day one, and then they're gonna have to patch in 60 FPS later. And I'm kind of like, I can see that being a problem, but my problem was that it was just another generic team-based shooter. Like,
I
That
mean,
we
that's
could have
what I
got from any
see.
studio though.
and my issue is
can't
that
deny that.
and my issue is that like that's Xbox's. That was probably one of Xbox's problem anyway. They were stuck in like 3 fucking genres: shooter, any type of shooter. That's first person or third shooter, racing, and then like hack and slash. Those were like the 3 main titles. And my problem is that
And they,
You said racing. Yeah, you said racing.
yeah.
So
you
yeah,
know, I mentioned this on another stream where I said there are more Horizon racing games than there are Mario Kart games, which is insane. So it's like they never want to branch out to do something else.
Well, but you know why? Because technically there are 2 Horizon games. I mean, 2 Forza games.
Or Forza.
You got Forza Motorsports, and then you got Forza Horizon, which are considered 2
I see
different.
Muhammad's point in chat.
Everyone I talked to
Yeah.
is excited, hyped for Starfield. This is Bethesda's most ambitious project yet, even more so than Elder Scrolls and Fallout.
But what I say to that
that
is
that doesn't mean anything.
if you get those, would I get an Xbox for Starfield if I know it's going to
You
come out
don't
on
you don't
PC or
need to.
something?
That's the thing. You don't need to get it.
Well, but that's also the point. It's like, is Starfield enough to make me go, I'm going to hit the market and go buy me an Xbox Series X or what have you?
But there's also a part 2 to that. Also, the part 2 is, let's say I get the Xbox, am I gonna buy it or am I just gonna get Game Pass?
Ooh, yep.
And then they'll be like,
fair.
well, Starfield didn't make as much as we wanted it to because people just got Game Pass. Like, what the fuck? You can't. That's my issue. Like, people could be excited for the game, but what if I told you, do you want to spend $70 for fucking Starfield, or do you want to spend $15 to get Starfield and a whole bunch of back catalog games? You'd be stupid to sit there and buy a brand new title like Starfield that you know is going to be on Game Pass day one.
Hey man, Fallout 76 happened, dog. I'm just
Oh man,
Yeah,
please
but
don't
Fallout
mention that game.
76 happened.
Please,
No,
don't
that's
mention
also
game.
that is important to acknowledge that like Bethesda doesn't have the cleanest track record. Like, it's not like
But
everything.
think about how many people spent like 3 figures for the game and all the accessories and what have you,
Wait, hold on. That's
and
real?
they didn't deliver. Yeah. Fallout 76 when they were releasing like the canvas bags and the special editions for it and stuff like that. People were spending money on it, and then
I
they
gotta
got
Google that right now.
what they got.
Intright goes, they will
Like
never
it was going
break
into the
out.
hundreds.
They'll never break out of the shooter racer crowd. They'll never have their own JRPG because Xbox gamers are too close-minded for that. Just what the fuck?
See, I don't even think it's Xbox game. I think it's,
I would disagree.
I would say
the
part of
brand
it
is
might
too
be.
close-minded.
Part of
I
it
think
does
the
feel like it though. Part of it feels like it. I'm not gonna say completely, but part of it does feel like it. The issue is more so their unwillingness to try to appeal to those demographics, other than getting third-party titles. Which third-party titles are cool. Like, oh, you got Persona. Oh, you got Yakuza. Those are cool. Like, I'm glad those things are happening. I'm glad they're willing to put in the effort. But I'm also like, you know what makes people really interested is when you fucking make a title for them that's exclusive to your console. And the problem is that you can't get exclusivity because you're just taking third-party games or games that need Kickstarters and just investing in them. It's kind
You know
of
what another problem is that
Go ahead.
they'll never be able to take away Game Pass now.
Yeah, because Game
Because
Pass,
once you take that away, you're done. at
The
that
conditioning is there.
absolutely, it's all about the ecosystem, not the box. Buy it on Xbox, play it on Game Pass, or get it on
point.
PC.
Nobody is buying Xbox for the ecosystem. Trust me.
No,
Then why buy it? That's an expensive system.
especially if you can get that shit on PC.
Yeah, like I've already got my PC sitting in front of me. That's what I'm thinking. It's like if you're going to release it on PC, or if you're releasing a title that's got me skeptical, what's going to compel me to support your exclusive system?
Yeah, the question is why even have the box?
We're at that point now. We really are at that point now.
And if people,
I mean,
if people don't think we're at that point, we're getting to it really soon.
If you're just using it for like a multimedia device, it's cool. But as a gaming system, no.
Well, yeah, but you can use
Absolutely not.
pretty much any modern gaming system like that except for like the Switch.
Right.
but the Switch is different. But still, like, because the problem is people still want to do the console war conversation. I'm like, bro, it's really Xbox is kind of just chilling in the background at this
And
point.
tried Xbox gamers are gamers too. You can't ignore that market from a business standpoint.
No, they are.
Like you, yeah, like that. Like their dollar is strong. Like that's how a lot of places get. Like that's how they don't stay afloat. Is that you will have your majority market that backs those titles, what keeps those series alive. Like that's what the fighting game industry is going through to a certain extent. Where you got your casual audience, which doesn't really can't get into the high ceiling, so it tends to mess with their numbers a little bit. But you've got your diehards that are like, we want it to be this way. We are adamant. We don't want it to change. We want our skill ceiling to be where it is for eternity. We want to rule this roost. We want it to be this way. But then you have that situation where, okay, your main audience, they're sticking by you, but you're not doing the numbers you need. So it's like, you have to have catch-22.
Well, fighting games will always have a hard time maintaining, partially because that is a genre that almost needs to have DLC constantly to maintain relevance. Like, those games kind of live and die within those first few months. And the problem is to the general audience, how do you keep Street Fighter or Tekken or Smash consistently interesting? Introduce characters that people were excited about. Smash's advantage is that they were introducing characters that even if you don't play Nintendo, you probably fuck with.
I agree.
Tekken kind of goes in a somewhat similar route, but Tekken also just visually is appealing.
But Terrell, that's also the point. Is like that's what's keeping your casuals in there. Is that they're going, hey, I don't know how to like down tech, up smash B, but I know that Sora was added to Smash.
Oh yeah,
and I love Kingdom Hearts.
Well,
that's the casual,
and we know for a fact that that's what renewed interest in certain IPs for Nintendo. That's the reason why Fire Emblem got put in America in the first place, because everybody kept picking Martha and Roy and went, why the fuck do these characters only speak Japanese and what game are they from? Like,
yep.
And my thing
bringing
is
back Melee memories.
Definitely, but like I don't want to stray too far from the Xbox thing. Like the struggle. Right. I'm fine with, if you're gonna have, like, I'm fine with the Forzas, I'm fine with the Halos, I'm fine with the Gears, but do something else. Like you got plenty of options. You could do this PlayStation route where you just rotate IPs.
Well, that's the thing, Inch, right? Like they kind of did. They had Killer Instinct, but then they had the whole Iron Galaxy situation. They didn't get the licensing back, etc., etc. It's not covered by that studio. Went to another studio, but that was going to be their fighter. Because KI at the time was just on Xbox,
and now it's in hell.
Yep, it's just out there because nobody can take the license. This, that, and the third. So everybody who wants KI too, we still praying.
I guess my issue is that they have IPs they're sitting on that they're just not doing shit with, and like every once in a while you should be willing to experiment a little bit with a new IP. Like, to me, the most hungry you are for new IP content usually comes when you first start. And it felt like even in the beginning of the Xbox tried a lot of it, and a lot of it just died on the 360 or Xbox One. The Xbox One made more of an effort for new IPs now that I think about it, because we had Rise of the Rome, the first fucking...
Yep. That was a launch title.
That was launch.
What was that Platinum game they canceled?
Scalebound? Yeah, Scalebound.
Oh, yeah, okay.
To be fair, that whole situation was more so Microsoft trying to turn that game into something it was never meant to be. They wanted that to be an online multiplayer game, and I'm like, bro, not everything you do has to have.
They don't all have to be that. Yeah,
you can have single player titles. I get, but once again, it goes back to Microsoft's strength. Microsoft's big thing and big contribution to the gaming industry is online. So of course they have a tendency of pushing it in everything they do, which a lot of gamers like because people like to play online. But some games were never meant to be online like that. Some games.
I mean, you can even play Splatoon offline. You don't need to play online for it.
Yeah,
that's the main appeal to it.
Well, because unfortunately, we're also in the era where people want to have the conversation of whether or not single player matters or not, and I'm like, it does.
It absolutely does.
It does, but the problem is that because everyone plays online, and usually a game's longevity is dictated by online, it's like, oh, it needs online. And so now we're in the position where everybody's like online here, online there. If it doesn't have online, it's trash.
Well, it's also a good way to kill an IP though, because once that online support stops, then it's like it's pretty much dead at that point.
That's true, but I think that only works. I think that's more important to certain genres and not games in general. I think that really hurts like shooters. Shooters not being online is a death sentence. A shooter, you can't have a shooter and
In this
not
day
be
and
online.
age, yeah.
You can't have any type of shooting game and not have it online. It's suicide. Fighting games the same way. You cannot have a new fighter and not have online. What do you
Agreed. In this day and age, like people want their online tournaments. Like, don't you dare make an offline fighting game right now.
Yeah, because you know, and if it's not on PC, motherfuckers will start hacking and changing shit up to make it online. But see, then that's not the legit version of the game. But yeah, like I just, it's frustrating because I've had this Series X, I think almost a year or coming up on a year. I have no issue with the
Yeah,
console.
they're sitting on Conquer. Like they talked about Rare. Like, yeah, they're sitting on Conquer. They're sitting on
I don't know what the
Banjo.
fuck
Like
they're
they
doing.
got titles. They just
Didn't Rare release a new game recently?
That was hold on. Sea of Thieves was Rare, but there was another one. Fuck, they did release. Hold on.
So people need to understand that Rare is not the same Rare that Nintendo had.
No, that's true. Actually, it stopped being that rare as soon as they bought them. Hold on. What was the latest thing they released? 2020. Oh, Battletoads.
about us.
And then they got Everwild coming out, which we don't know when the fuck that's coming out, but that's also rare. Yeah, that was.
That's technically an exclusive. It says just Windows and Xbox Series X.
It is, but guess what? It was announced fucking 4 years ago. Rare said it was coming. Rare mentioned it back in 2019, and then I think it got rebooted from its initial development, and that was 2 years ago. So it's supposedly the rumors are saying it's supposed to come out this year, but more people are thinking it's more realistically going to be 2024. But so when 2024 hits, that'll be the newest Rare title. But we don't know anything, and we're almost midway through the year, and we haven't had really any new information.
They might shadow drop it.
They better not, because that looks pretty high budget.
Well, to me, it's already in a better state than Hi-Fi Rush because at least it was talked about before it got released.
And that's the thing I'm saying is that they keep talking about all these games, and it feels like we're never gonna get them.
Also, now think about it. Fucking, who did the Battletoads? The Battletoads reboot? Well, I guess I don't know if I call it a reboot, but I guess the Battletoads game that came out a couple years ago. That one, I know that Xbox owns the IP, but what about the studio that made it? I mean, the game was ass. From what most people said, it was a mediocre to ass game, and it didn't look good. It did not.
That's the standard for Xbox nowadays. Mediocre to ass.
Well, that was very much the end of like the Xbox One era where everything just could not come out like right. That was Crackdown, State of Decay. What the fuck else? There was a couple other titles. Sea of Thieves was weirdly the shining boy in the background because at least it was fucking like functional.
And I mean, people can trash the Wii U, but it's like they put out quality games.
Oh, definitely. Oh, hell, we're still waiting for fucking Hellblade 2. I don't even know what the fuck happened with that.
I forgot all about that game.
That should have been out.
You wanna know why? Because Hellblade 2 was announced, and then when we got update on it, all they showed off was that they were going to locations for inspiration. And we were like, bro, where's the fucking game?
Pulled an Oda Sensei on us.
Oh, don't even bring
I ain't got a new chapter,
don't
but
bring,
I'm on vacation,
don't bring that shit up. And Android, if we're talking platformer, Lucky's Tale could have been it. It's not an amazing game, but it's an okay platformer. And then it became multi-plat, and people went, "Oh, I guess it won't be." Like the fuck. Because remember, Super Lucky still came out on Xbox, and then immediately got a new version that came out on Switch, and then eventually, I believe, made its way to PlayStation. And so now I'm just kind of like,
Wait, it's on
okay,
PlayStation now? Wow.
I think so.
Well, here we are again. If we really try to narrow it down to one or two bullet points, what do you think is Xbox's core issue going into this era that they may or may not need to iron out?
Again, for me, it's core IPs. If you can't get if you can't get that core IP in, not just one, but you have to have at least 3 or 4.
Yeah,
I mean,
Get
is
those
that
in,
the
and you'll
question? Like, what do they consider a core IP?
I don't think they have anything they consider core IP.
They don't. They just
Yeah,
buy.
because that's
They
what I'm
just
saying.
buy
Like,
shit. They don't have. They
corporate
just
speak, do they sit down and go like, what are these series that truly define like Xbox as a studio or a software developer or what have you?
well, they had it with Halo, and they said if we lose our way with Halo, then we lost our way with Xbox, which they already lost their way with Halo. So it's like
They
Correct.
lost their
even,
way with Halo after what?
even when they sit down and
3?
talk about core IPs, it's like they don't know. They're incompetent, and it's sad to say that.
It's not that sad. Like I can't miss what was never there. Like
This
for,
is a
Well, the
multi-million-dollar
problem, to me,
company.
it's like the problem is that you can turn this around, but that's how easy it is.
well,
I don't
especially
think
when
it's that easy.
well, my problem is you're willing to spend all these money on these fucking studios, so you care somewhat, but like if none of this content has been coming out like at all, bro. We're getting announcements.
I don't see it as care.
You just don't
Like,
give a fuck.
I see it as them safe betting as far as corporate speak, where I'm looking at people who used to be successful but are slightly dying, and if I just acquire that thing, that may keep us afloat or that may turn around the company. Like
So it's
they
like
may be really
like a
looking at it.
Band-Aid.
Yeah, exactly that. And that's how, like corporate wise, that's how a lot of people can move. Like they'll go like, I'm not going to build the new thing because that's way too risky in our books. But if we just buy them, the people that used to be successful, and just throw money at them, then that'll be a band-aid for Xbox. We'll be able to hemorrhage some of this loss.
Well, you're
And
just
we're okay with
prolonging
that.
your failure at that point. Then
No, definitely.
And that's how companies can function. Like here we are. Like that's how companies can function.
Yeah, we gotta remember we've lost things like Sega because of that. Well,
Yeah.
Sega was a mixture of multi. Sega was also spending too much money on like 3 different systems, and it took them way too long to get shit right. And then by the time they got shit right, didn't have enough money to maintain it.
well, here's my thing, Muhammad, is that it takes time to develop games, but you still get games from Sony and Nintendo. That's not an excuse.
Yeah, even the Wii U with its trash release schedule still had a couple titles in and out.
I mean, we're getting a sequel to one of the best games in a few weeks that came out this generation,
Yeah, I mean, granted, it's been 6 years. I don't-
which is fine. I mean, in those 6 years, what have we got from Microsoft? Honestly,
From 2017, that would have been shit.
you
That,
can't just
2017 would have been 2017 would have been towards the end of the Xbox One generation.
I mean, let me just say that Starfield is cool, but it's like, what else do you have to say Xbox can show
Well,
up?
you know what you really should say? What have we gotten in the last 3 years of Xbox Series X?
That's a fair question.
What is a notable release you've gotten from Xbox Series X in the last 3 years?
Let me Google that.
The fact that you had
That's
to,
their latest, and that's what they want to sell us at this moment in time.
the fact that you said you had to go look is concerning in its own.
I mean,
Yeah, that's bad.
I can go off memory what we got from Sony and Nintendo like it's nothing because
Well,
we
yeah.
consistently get games.
well,
I can't say that with Xbox.
well, that and it's also recognizable IPs. Like with Xbox,
Mhm.
2020, I believe, is when it came out. Shit. I can't even think of specifically Xbox Series X. Xbox Series X specifically.
So we got Halo. When did Gears 5 come
I
out?
don't know. Do we count Psychonauts 2 considering? Because
No.
Is
They
that
didn't.
multi-platform?
it is. Yeah, because I think
Okay.
when they got it, they got the rights first, and then Sony bought the studio. So the game still came out on Xbox because they were
When did
there
Flight
first.
Simulator come out?
When did what come out?
Flight Simulator. When did that come out?
Flight Simulator.
That's not. Hey, listen. Listen,
I'm trying. I'm trying.
It's a sad state of affairs. It's not. No disrespect to the game, but
So that came out.
it is a sad.
That came out in let's see, 2020. Okay.
Also, Muhammad's like Redfall, Hi-Fi Rush, Forza Motorsports, Diablo 4.
Diablo 4 is multiplat. So was
Is it?
Redfall was supposed to be multiplat, but it got canceled.
They got Forza.
In Forza again, and then
Stalker 2. What is that?
I've heard Stalker. I just haven't. I've never played the game, so I don't know. Oh, let me see.
Is it the remake of that? Yeah, it's a remake, I think.
Why is it called Stalker 2 then? If it's the remake, or is it the remake of Stalker 2?
It's the remake of Stalker 2, I think.
Okay. And that's supposed to come out. Bruh, the release date for that is supposed to be December 2023. Like, the fuck? It's not even. It doesn't even have a lockdown date.
Bro, you're still listing stuff that Microsoft didn't make though.
Mm-hmm.
When the Activision deal goes through, y'all gonna be changing your tune. Not really. I mean, the only I'm gonna put this in context. The only thing about the Activision deal that's gonna be crazy is that Nintendo systems will finally get Call of Duty again. That's probably the part I will be tripping a little bit out on. I'll be like, whoa. Let's see.
Well, even then, you can't even use that as an argument though, because it's still going to be multi-plat. They're still going to make Call of Duty for Sony, PC, and Nintendo. So it's like that's not an argument.
Yeah, it'll just be that Microsoft's pocketing more of the money because they now own the studios.
Yeah, it's more creating the argument than destroying it there, Muhammad, because it's going back to they're just going to acquire other studios and subsidiaries to hemorrhage their problem instead of really trying to fix that problem.
The reality is that Microsoft currently has very weak brand recognition.
I mean, you can't just talk about Sony and Nintendo still profit, but they still have exclusives
Microsoft
where
will
people
probably
will buy their
mismanage and ruin Activision even further. Well, Activision is kind of fucked in its own right anyway.
I don't see the end goal for what Muhammad is saying.
Well, Muhammad for one is a notorious Xbox fan. The second thing is that Xbox has always been the weakest brand to me. It always has been, and always will be. Its second console was a piece of dog shit. The 360 is a dog shit console.
Yeah, but what game?
I'm staring at mine right now.
Here's my thing. The 360 was legendary for the amount of games it ended up getting, but was dog shit in terms of like functionality. Like the bitch.
Yep. Don't forget the towel hack for the first release and all that.
Yeah, you had
self solder.
You had to do so much to them fucking things.
Red Ring of Death.
And that's the thing that always pissed me off. That people are like, "Bro, you need to get yourself a 360." You mean your first one or your fifth one? Because the fuck, like I'm not about to sit here and invest. So people ask me why I didn't get an Xbox. I'm like, well, the first system I didn't know much about. The second system was known for breaking. It was famously known for breaking.
I mean, me personally, I had 360s.
Yeah,
I see you, Prince. I see you.
And you fucking savage. Phil needs to go. Bring back Peter Moore. 2004 to 2009 was peak Xbox, and it was all went downhill with Kinect. The kicker is they made money off the Kinect. Like Kinect was pretty successful for them. It just it kind of ruined their brand because they didn't know how to get the fuck out of it. Like Nintendo lived in the Wii era.
They basked in it.
But they also pioneered it. So they already knew what they were going to have to do, the shift in and out of it. Xbox kind of just committed to Kinect and didn't know how to get the fuck out. And Xbox wasn't known for that. Remember Xbox's main appeal was the dude bro college guys, right? The Kinect,
that's what they marketed toward, yeah.
The Kinect is meant for like the Wii's audience. And why
that's
would
also whom they marketed toward, like small children, families.
And why would the Wii's audience want to buy a Kinect when they also have a Wii? Now some people did.
This software recognizes your faces, dude. Like, come on. We got inbuilt cameras.
Darn is it was pretty technologically advanced, all things considered. Like I don't want to act like The Kinect was kind of ahead of its time in a lot of ways. It just
Connectimals, Terrell. Connectimals.
all right. I'm gonna leave in a minute. I'm gonna just walk up and get out of this room because this man just said connectables. Like that shit was funny. Like you fucking. I almost wanted to. If I could, I would have turned around and looked you dead in your soul and be like, "How dare you, bruh? How dare you? How dare you say that bullshit to me, bruh? Like the fuck." The first half, the first half of the 360 was so good that people rather deal with the 50% failure rate over the PS3. They just lost their way and never recovered. Well, that's also because remember, a lot of those early 360 games were only on the 360. You could only play those games on the 360, and then all those games started getting ported to the PS3.
I think you couldn't play Mass Effect until like what, the last 2 years of the PS3.
Yeah, the PS3 eventually got all those games. It just took them a while. So if you were willing to wait, then you played it on PS3.
Y'all had Heavenly Sword.
It still hurts Microsoft because Sony.
The man
won
said
at the end of
Heavenly
the
Sword.
day.
Fuck you, bro. Wait, what?
They still come out on- I'm saying Sony still came out with the PS3 when it was all said and done.
Yeah,
They
the
can't-
PS3 had a hell of a turnaround. No bullshit.
Mm-hmm.
The PS3 had a hell of a turnaround considering it was dead last,
They had to work hard.
and it took them.
But they dug in there.
It took them like 4 years to get their shit together.
I think it sold what 85 million total.
Yes. So it still didn't. I think it tied. It's either slightly above the 360 or it tied with the 360, and then they both lost to the Wii. Because the Wii was like over 100.
Yeah, the 360 sold like 43 million, so it's like it's not even close at that point.
Oh, did it only sell 43? That's crazy. There's no way it sold 43 million.
That's what I'm looking at right now.
It only sold 43 movies. That's crazy. Also, shut up, Melvin. It's fucking dickhead. There's no way the 360 only sold.
It's the only the PS3 is the only Sony console that didn't sell 100 million at this point.
And that's because they just fucked up. They were very cocky going into that. They were very cocky going into that generation. They paid for it immensely.
Yeah, I'm looking at my Xbox shelf right now, and most of my game, like the only game I personally own that isn't multi-platform is Gears, and that
Right.
scares me.
Nah, it didn't scare me. I'm not surprised. No, the Xbox 360 sold 85.73 million.
Wait, hold on, wait a minute. What are you looking at?
I was at VG charts.
Hold on.
You might be looking at America sales and not like the entire.
World.
Yeah, let me double check. What is the PS3 at then? 85.73. The PS3 is at no. The PS3 won. The PS3 is like a little bit. It's like 87. So the PS3 came back. The PS3 went from dead last to beating Xbox in the very end, and partially because the last 2 or 3 years of the 360 were just dog shit. You got no new game. You had no new exclusives coming out. It was a bunch of third-party shit, and it was just kind of dry. Actually, it was really dry.
That's what happens when you pay your way to success.
Yeah, that was the other problem. I didn't. That's the other reason why I didn't like Microsoft for a long time. Microsoft introduced. Now here's the thing: money hatting has always been a thing, but it became very fucking popular during that 360 PS3 generation, where Microsoft was just money hatting. It's like, bro, let me get $1. Fool, $2, bitch. Give me your exclusive rights to the fucking commercials. Boom, you fucking buy Call of Duty, you can get a pack of Mountain Dew and DLC first on Xbox 360.
Don't forget the Doritos.
Yeah, fucking
Don't forget the Doritos.
fucking Dorito King. Whoo, like I wish I had change on me. I just start throwing pennies and shit. Yeah, pennies for everybody.
Exclusive Dorito flavor.
Yeah, buy Vanquished on Xbox, you fucking cowards. Like that's what it felt like. It felt like you were being marketed to while getting your ass whooped by free money. Like it's like the weirdest combination of shit. Fucking stupid. It was absolutely stupid. And God, some companies were absolutely infuriating during this time. That's why I didn't like Capcom a lot during. Capcom was dog shit during that generation. Why? Because Super Street Fighter 4, Street Fighter 4 Ultimate Edition, Street Fighter 4 Arcade Edition. Then you gave me Marvel vs. Capcom 3, Ultimate Marvel vs. Capcom.
Ultimate Marvel vs. Capcom.
I'm like, you
3.
stupid son of a bitch. What's happened to Resident Evil? Oh, it's just action games now. Hey, Resident Evil 5 action game. Resident Evil 6
Street Fighter
action
Cross
game.
Tekken.
For the longest time, they were legit like the Japanese EA.
Oh hell, it was terrible. Then they did that.
And
Motherfucker.
they were locking content on the disc and shit. I was like, oh, come on,
Good old
Capcom, stop
DRM.
doing that.
That DRM was stupid, dog.
They got caught and they was just like, nah, we doubling down. Where your money at? We see
Actually,
what you if you crack a game,
And
dog.
Crux is saying brings up a good point. Not buying Bungie was one of the biggest L's in Microsoft history.
Agreed.
I didn't.
Agreed.
To be fair,
I always
I've been
assumed they
I've been running into that a lot lately. Like even with PlayStation, I'm like, bruh, Insomniac has been making Ratchet and Clank like the whole time. Why haven't you bought them already? Like, and that only recently happened. They only recently got Insomniac like within the last generation. I'm like, they've been making your games. What the fuck? What are we doing here? Also, when Xbox got rights to the Psychonauts 2, and then PlayStation bought the company, and we were like, what? How did you let that happen? What the fuck is going on? Like,
wait a minute. Hold on. Say that again.
Double Fine, if I remember correctly, they got the rights to Psychonauts 2 originally. Like when Psychonauts 2 was shown off, it was shown off more for specifically Xbox. And then PlayStation just bought the company. If I remember correctly.
Yeah. Hold on.
Let me double check before because I could be talking on my ass. Let me see.
We just need an acquisition index at this point. I agree.
Oh no, I'm wrong. I know what I said wrong. So Double Fine, it wasn't they on PlayStation's E3 stage. They announced like a pseudo Kickstarter for Psychonauts 2.
Mm-hmm.
And PlayStation was like, we're going to fund the game. It's going to come out on PlayStation. And then Xbox bought the studio. That's what happened.
Okay.
So it still had to come out on PlayStation because they had already made that a previous agreement. But like, technically the company is owned by Xbox. That's what it was. I just fucked up the
It would have
order.
made a mint if they owned Fortnite. I see what you're saying.
But my problem with Double
Legit.
Fine, but here's my thing, even with Double Fine, which is a good studio, like Psychonauts 2 came out as a great game. Double Fine doesn't make consistent content like that. Like Double Fine takes like really long breaks. And I do mean like really long breaks. Like even between the two Psychonauts games, that was what, 20 that was like 2000. The original Psychonauts was like from like the early 2000s to like the last few years where we got Psychonauts 2, and I'm like, bro, y'all need to be releasing way more shit to be out here like this, because this is getting stupid.
Yeah, the first one came out in 2005, I think.
Yeah, it been like at least 15 years. I want to say over 10 years. It's been over 10 years since you fucking like released the game. It's granted those aren't the only games they make, but still like
Visual audience.
still. I keep going back to that E3 in my mind where Phil said we got all these
Like
game
if they
studios.
took their shooting market, their FPS market,
You know what? That's not even Microsoft's biggest L. Their
like
biggest
what could
L-
they combine it with to like
Wait,
Yeah.
Revolver. What's
I'm
the
saying-
biggest L?
Their biggest L is not bringing Usher back. That's all I'm saying.
This man brought up Usher in this room. How dare you, bro? Like, what the fuck?
Well, that's why they're failing now. They didn't bring him back.
Oh, let me see. GTA 4 was supposed to be a PS3 exclusive, but Xbox gave Rockstar $75 million to have it on their system with exclusive content. Of course they did, because that's what fucking Xbox did. Xbox is a money-hatting son of a bitch. Not saying PlayStation didn't do it, because actually PlayStation did it a lot during the PS4 generation. They were just money-hatting. Granted, the PS4 didn't really need to do it because they were already in the lead anyway. It was more of rubbing salt in the wound as far as Xbox was concerned.
If you can throw $75 million at a company to keep an IP exclusive, you can definitely make new IPs and shit.
Yeah, it is kind of fucking ridiculous. They should have just bought Epic Games 2 during the Gears trilogy. Oh, that's right. They don't even own the developers of Gears.
So
If-
what do
So
Xbox own right now? Let's
If
go through that.
I remember correctly, hold on, let me make sure. Gears.
they got Bethesda.
When they only what? Hold on. I'm gonna check something first with Gears before I say anything. Okay, so
Bethesda themselves, they're already sketchy with their games.
Yeah, they're not consistent. So yeah, Gears is done by Epic Games. Although it's changed. It's changed a lot over the years. Like certain games are made by different companies, like Epic, the Coalition, Splash Damage, People Can Fly, Mediatonic, I think is how you pronounce it. Like a lot of the games have just and the last one we got was the Tactics game. Hell, we haven't even gotten Gears in like 3 years. 4 years if you're talking about a mainline one. Because Gears 5 came out in 2019. Which is kind of ridiculous.
Yeah.
Which is ridiculous when you look back at the order. Like Gears 4 to 5 was 3 years. Gears.
I'm looking at Xbox Studios. I don't really even see anything.
I don't really know what they've done in themselves other than some smaller stuff. Xbox Studios.
I mean, I'm just saying, for me, like personally, if I was an Xbox gamer, I would have nothing to be excited for.
Well, to me, how the hell you become an Xbox gamer is a better question.
Yeah.
You're really dedicated to racing and first-person shooters, I guess.
Yeah, but
There's some therapy. There's some therapy
that,
behind that.
There are people like that, though. Like, we can't
Okay,
deny
here we go.
it. There are people like that.
These are subsistence. No, I need games. Give me games. What games? Did
And
they
I
fucking make?
would insist on seeing a therapist.
Oh,
at
yeah,
that point.
Madden. You got to throw in sports.
They still make Madden?
Yeah, but I say I don't hear nothing about. Yeah, I don't hear nothing about that shit either. Actually, I'm actually looking right now. They don't. Do they even give me the games they've made?
Yeah, I just see the studios on the website.
Yeah, they don't even tell me the games they made. Hold on, let me see.
So, like, when you click on 343 Industries, it says something went wrong.
Yeah, it said something went wrong.
That's unfortunate.
That's terrible, bruh.
Yeah, like, imagine going on Nintendo's website, clicking on Zelda, and nothing comes up.
Or clicking on Zelda, clicking on Anuma's face and being like, bruh, where you at? Like, the fuck? I'm looking right now. So, the list of shit we got, I got the list of studios they have and when they got them. All these studios they got, like, there's a bunch of them that were got back in, like, 2018 and 2019. With like one being in 2021, with a chunk being 2021. So I'm looking to see because they finally bought the State of Decay developers in 2018 after they put out that abysmal second game. Fucking
Did they ever fix the second game?
no, fuck no, actually. It was in 2018 that they finally bought Hellblade's developer. Because that game was also another game that was being made before fucking...
Yeah, and where is the game at?
Let's see... It's not a lot here. Yeah, there's just not a lot here. Even Double Fine they've had for 4 years. They've had Double Fine for 4 years and we've heard nothing.
I'm looking at State of Decay 2 right now. It looks like an indie game.
Yeah, it's pretty bad. It's like a shitty zombie survival game. I think that Sony one that came out, Days Gone, was a better title. And that game is also kind of generic.
Mm-hmm.
Goku for Smash. Oh, shut the hell up, studio. Epic made the original trilogy and the other developers made the rest. Shows since the first 3 are amazing while everything else is trash. Well, to be fair, I don't hear much about Gears in itself to begin with, so it only exacerbates the issue I was already thinking about in the first place.
I don't hear about any Xbox games, to be fair.
I hear about the small stuff. I hear about Ori. I hear about Cuphead. I hear about like those shit. But even those.
But when
games,
you mention those games, it's like you can always play them somewhere else, though. So
Well,
they're not
now,
even with
yeah.
Xbox anymore.
yeah, they like if you, most people who were playing when I was telling people about Cuphead, they were like, "Oh, where'd you buy it?" On Switch. Wasn't that supposed to be for Xbox? No, it is. But it's also on Switch. Like that's what's happened. Ori, same thing. Oh, isn't that on, I'm gonna get that on Xbox. But wait a minute, what you got? I got on Switch. It's on Switch? Oh, that's crazy, man. And then no one ever buys it on Xbox.
I mean, for me, it's like a good way for Xbox to turn this around is to get actual gamers in the studio
Oh, absolutely.
to just, talk about what they want.
Will
Absolutely.
they listen? That's the question.
The debate
I don't know.
jury says no. Realistically.
And even
Also,
I
then, like
mean,
you say,
hold on one
bring
second.
gamers in to tell. Okay.
Y'all keep talking. I'm gonna go grab me a water because I ran out of my first bottle.
all right.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
what were you gonna say?
I was saying, like, even then, the proposition of bringing in gamers to tell Microsoft what they want, what pool should they fish from? Are they fishing from people who already own Xboxes? Are
Don't
we
fish.
fishing for
Don't
the
fish from Xbox
diehards?
gamers. Do not fish from Sony and Nintendo gamers. Go get them and say what they want on Xbox. Because then you'll actually get You'll actually get games that people want to play on Xbox at that point.
Would you?
Yeah.
I mean, okay, because you got to really think about that though, because you're telling Microsoft slash Xbox to make games that they enjoy, but is that going to
hmm
entice them enough to get that console or just stick with the one that they have? Because they're going, I'm already getting the games I enjoy plus the exclusivity.
Yeah. Shit, man. They shot themselves in the foot. You know, you're right. I can't
Yeah, that's what I'm
even.
talking about. Like, because like nobody is going to go to a company and instruct them on how to make a bootleg when I've already got the real thing I've been satisfied with.
And like I said, Game Pass is the final nail in the coffin. It's like once you can never remove that now.
Okay, me being the bum off the street who has not updated a console generation in a hot minute, like, what is the state of Gamer Pass? Because is Gamer Pass as I knew it on the 360? Has it evolved in any way?
I don't have Xbox, so I can't. Let me look at it. I can't say 100% what it is because I don't have it.
The Xbox gamers don't want to play any other genre except the ones they play already. And try.
All I
I
know is that with Game
I
Pass, that
can't
you can get
disagree with that.
what do you say? Let me see. Hold on.
No, you go ahead. You go ahead. You're making a point.
All right, so all I know is that you can get games day one for a cheaper price with Game Pass.
So it's an instant
Um,
discount on a new title. Okay.
Pretty much. Yeah, but it says play day one right there. Um, I don't know, bro. It's just like for me, it's like what I'm looking at right now. It's like even with Game Pass, it's not worth it to have it.
I agree. I mean, okay. I can. There are benefits to it, but probably in this, like it really is a crutch. And how are you going to just pull that out from from the small customer base you already have? Because I mean, I do look at it as Gamer Pass is giving a lot of games that perhaps their casual audience normally wouldn't give the time of day. It's getting that attention because they're like, oh well, it's dirt cheap or it's in rotation for freemium game or what have you. So I will just give it a shot because I'm taking a break from Gears for a second, or I'm taking a break from COD or something.
I don't know, man. Shit, man. You got me beat.
I'm just bringing perspectives, so to speak, because it's like they've created a bit of a mess, and gaming pass, and
I mean,
their audience is very tends
I
to be
always hear
very fixated on what they want.
Xbox gamers brag about Game Pass, so I would assume it's worth it. For me personally, I don't use it, so I don't know.
Okay,
I
I'm back.
mean, from the outside looking in, welcome back. From the outside looking in, like, Game Pass is a great tool for getting some games out there that people normally wouldn't play.
You're talking about Game Pass?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Yeah, I mean, remember that
It's a
whole.
crutch, but it also has benefits to it if they wanted to expand their library.
I mean, yeah, like those reports about how many people downloaded Persona 5 Royal when it first came out on Game Pass, like
Mm-hmm.
that shows that there is an interest. And Game Pass does have its benefits, but like I think like Ursula was saying, like it to me the double edged part of it is the fact that one, you have to pay so much to pay all these companies for licensing fees to get like these titles on your service, and then on top of that, it's a rotating service. Like eventually, those games don't stay on. You're essentially paying for a limited amount of time of having access to those games, and then after that, those games disappear, and you have to add on new ones. Like people always talk that shit about Nintendo Switch Online, and how those games aren't really worth the $20 to $50 you gotta pay a year for. And I'm like, you could theoretically say it, but the difference is because Nintendo owns a lot of those titles, or owns the rights to those titles. Guess what?
At least it's going to still be there.
It's an ever-growing library versus like the fucking the Xbox Game Pass, which is a rotating door. Now, does that mean that they're constantly being switched out and constantly being pushed out? No, because when I heard it's a relatively slow process. But the reality is that means you could disappear for a year, and there's a high chance that a game might not be there anymore. They won't disappear. They won't disappear.
That brings on a question.
Go ahead.
Do you believe Game Pass is broken? And if so, how would you fix it?
How, when you say what do you define as broken? I guess is my question.
Detrimental to Microsoft/Xbox as a company.
Well, it's been like that since day one.
Yeah, objectively, it was broken off of conception.
Like, do you believe that it is? And if so, do you believe it can be saved or fixed? And if so, how would you fix it?
You can't save or fix it because, well, to save it will mean you would have. I don't think you can save it or fix it because it's like the only thing you can do is just take it away.
Yeah, because be real with you, most people are like, "How are you going to sustain this?" Well, the short answer is eventually you're just not going to. You're just going to drop it, and people are just going to be mad at you. Because how do you fix a system that's literally based on you having to get games from other publishers, pay them fees, and then only have them for a limited amount of time? That like the service only would be fine as if it was full of Microsoft original content, which we all know they don't fucking have enough of to really make a service out of. That's why they were filling it up with all the third-party stuff from like Sega and Capcom and shit. So like the only way you could,
they might have to go Steam with it, so to speak. Like get a lot of indie developers on there and see if they really want like that long-term Microsoft licensing and put it out there on Gamer Pass, so at least you have go-to games, and who knows when may blow up. Like, go the Steam route with it.
I mean, that's
it may not be the best option, but it's an option.
Well, the reality is that they shouldn't have done it at all, honestly, because they don't have a strong.
I agree, but it exists.
They don't have a strong enough. They don't have a strong enough library to really justify it. I guess is my problem. So with me acknowledging it and understanding it, I'm at this point, people are just kind of taking advantage of it until it dies. That's the way I look at it.
Yeah, but when Game Pass dies, so does Xbox almost.
Well, honestly, I think they already had their foot halfway in the ground anyway. Like they'll always survive. They kind of
did abandon gaming with Xbox One that one time.
That one time. With the Xbox One, the one time with the Xbox One, GG's, buddy.
Okay, there are additional sins, but that was one of the most memorable for sure.
I'm just saying, I think Xbox as a brand will always exist, but they may have just said fuck the physical aspect.
No.
Like I very much believe the Series X is the last physical console we're getting from Xbox.
As a brand, they're always going to exist because they exist outside of games, but as a gaming company, no.
Well, yeah, but like I said, I also think this is our last console we're getting anyway.
But from Xbox,
last hardware console.
Yeah, the last Xbox system we're gonna get, I think, is the Series X. I think they're very much gonna become more of a publisher and like a software manager than a console manufacturer, because that's like their weakest aspect. Like if you want to just do the Game Pass, it's fine, but like,
well, my thing is,
what's the point of having the box? So what?
Now, what are they going to produce software-wise, though?
It's more publishing. Probably more publishing than anything. They'll have their name on shit. Oh, well, Bethesda did this. Fucking Microsoft did this. And then any of their other...
But once that happens, like, Sony will still win in that. That's the crazy part.
Well, yeah, but the reality is I don't think Microsoft...
There's money there.
Microsoft, I think, is more concerned about making money than winning an imaginary war that doesn't really matter.
So, like, you bought all these studios just to say, here, take them back.
We're not even taking
We're gonna-
back.
No, we
We're
bought
gonna
all the
stop it.
studios
No.
for me to slap my brand on it.
Yeah, so because now
And
even
every time I do that, I get a kickback.
so every time I put a game out on PlayStation, I have Xbox Game Studios because that's the brand.
That's
So I'm
petty,
getting
man.
I'm getting paid
That's
every time
corporate
they
America, dog.
I'm getting paid every time you buy a game for PlayStation. You could be buying for
That
PS5, but because I own the game studio, I'm getting paid no matter what.
I would say the biggest winner at that point is PC gamers. Then
Yeah, probably. Actually, I would say that now.
That's where it started. That might be where it ends.
For them, it probably
last
will be.
bastion of consoles is going to be Nintendo, and it's like eventually they might cave in.
All I want is experiences I can't play anywhere else. That's the whole point of owning a console. That's true. Xbox doesn't care about any of that. Although there's,
No.
Here's my thing. If this is the route you're gonna be in, if you're gonna be in this Game Pass streaming services route, don't get mad at a game for not doing well when you have a service that they don't have to pay the full price of the game. The sad thing is that Hi-Fi Rush was only $30. It wasn't even anything expensive. But because you could get it on
Really
Game
didn't
Pass.
care, huh?
Well, my thing is, it's also a really short game. But my argument is, well, if you're going to do that anyway, you can't complain about the price, about how well a game sells when you have a service where you can always get the game for less in a bunch of other games. Your service can't be insanely good, and then you turn around and go, well, we didn't make any fucking money. Well, no shit, Sherlock. You can't make money off of the game because everyone's paying for the streaming service to get the game for essentially cheaper/free. You fucking asshole. Like,
Oh, you know what's sad?
Yeah,
is that-
they're behaving like they're Epic Games or they're like Steam. But yeah, you go ahead.
You know what's sad is that they probably made all their money from Steam.
I would say a portion. I don't know if I would say all, but a portion of it they do.
Yeah, I don't know how the percentages rank out with that.
Yeah, that's why I
Because
went.
if you-
That's why I
if you
went.
bought if you bought it through if you bought it through Game Pass, then you got it for cheap. And if you bought it through Steam, you definitely pay full price for it. So it's like that's probably where their bulk of their money came from.
I mean, it's a. I mean, the reality is it's a hustle. They're just playing the long game. My issue is you can't keep getting complaint. You can't keep complaining about fucking sales numbers. I'm like, bitch, you have a streaming service on your goddamn platform that incentivizes not paying for your shit. So why are you surprised that people aren't paying for your shit? That's the core of my problem. You're essentially complaining to me about, well, you guys should be buying Hi-Fi Rush. And we're like, but your system is incentivizing us to not buy it because we'll get it for free. So why would I buy it? And they're like, fuck.
They shoot themselves in the foot.
Like, what do we do? I'm
There's
like,
no way around that.
Oh,
On top of Shadow dropping it.
it's a lose-lose situation. Absolutely. You will
Yeah,
never
man.
you will never win. It's a shame, actually. It's a shame. It genuinely is a shame.
That's
I mean, they dug this hole.
Oh no, absolutely. They put themselves in the hole. But it's just something to acknowledge that, like, you had all the money and potential in the world and floundered it on like the dumbest shit. Like the absolute
Right.
dumbest shit.
You're right with that, Inch, right?
There's not going
There's
to be
gonna-
a next. Oh yeah, I agree. It essentially turned to Google Stadia, low key.
I mean, it is what it is at that point.
The controllers.
There'll be a day. It'll always exist because Microsoft owns computers. So even then, Microsoft's still winning.
Office 360 and all
Yeah,
that.
even if
stuff.
you end up gaming on PC, guess what? Still winning. Microsoft still wins. Microsoft wins no matter what, which is why I don't think they care about their physical game division anymore. Even if they make another box, it'll be a digital only box.
I just can't see myself dropping 500 on the Xbox.
Well, you
like,
wouldn't.
for what reason?
You wouldn't, unless you'd have no intention of buying a PS4.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, I'm waiting for somebody to sell me on an Xbox, like pitch the games I want, pitch the service I want, pitch the, all the other accessories or ease of life, things, things on the system to make me go like, okay, I'm gonna drop this money on that, and this is gonna be a good investment for, I don't know, the next 5 years.
Yeah. Also, I already finished Crisis Core Reunion at man, but yeah, I'm. It's a sad state of affairs, especially when the console itself is a good console. Like it's for me owning it for almost a year now. I want to say, I think it's a generally good console, but like, there's just
Well, let me ask you this then, Terrell,
go ahead.
as an owner. Do you think the console, I mean, this is semi-illegal, but I'm going to say it. Do you think the console would benefit from having like some modifications made to it, like emulation software? Like if you're saying the hardware feels good, but the software in its own right is not offering you enough, would it be worth buying just to like modify it?
No.
Oh, that's pretty bad.
Hell, you could buy a Switch for less and modify that. Like,
I mean, I emulate on my PC, so there would be no reason for me to
that's
get
the
an
other
Xbox.
thing. Most people, if you game on PC, you have no reason to buy a console to emulate. Like, unfortunately,
That's what I
Xbox,
do. I'm just saying,
the
like, I'm
Xbox-
looking for something.
the Xbox. I mean, I own it. and I couldn't sell you one. I already know that for a fact.
You know what? You know what's even more sad is that we're not Xbox fans, and we're trying to justify why you should have an Xbox sometimes.
The only reason why you would have it is if you want to play multiplayer and you don't own a PS5 or a PC.
Well, even them, like the multiplats don't play best on Xbox.
They don't, but like that'd be your only option. If you're an Xbox fan and you don't own a high-end PC, you're gonna buy an Xbox One S. I mean, Xbox Series X. I hate that fucking naming convention.
I think you just
Take
need to
that
have
too.
like a live stream where you invite Xbox gamers on.
No, are there ones to do that?
You're really
with?
trying to have a Microsoft smoke stream.
I don't want to.
I mean-
I still want to do this. I want to do this for PlayStation and Nintendo too. Actually, just
So
stream
anybody in it,
the state of those companies because they both have their issues and situations that are going on.
Oh, yeah.
is anybody in the chat an Xbox fan?
Anybody gonna do what?
No, is anybody in
Muhammad
chat?
in here?
Is anybody in the chat an Xbox gamer?
I think Mohammed would be the only one.
Oh man, well,
And I've seen a Mohammed in the Juice of Loose streams. I already know he's about that life. But that's just,
Okay.
But that's just one guy.
damn.
Like, it's just not worth the money. And then the kicker is that hell, for a while you could get the Xbox. I mean, you can get a PlayStation 5 for about the same amount of money. Hell,
Man.
recently you could have did it with the bundle.
You should have just kept your money and held out to get a PS5.
Well, especially with all these rumors and talks of a new PS5 coming, and then you got the Vita successor coming,
Hmm.
and then
I mean,
and then they just released the fucking VR2, which by the way is hella expensive. It's not expensive
And
for
Trey-
VR machines; it's just expensive in general.
but I mean,
Yeah, we got bills.
Also, you're right. It is not worth the $500. The only way it'd be worth the $500 is if you literally didn't have a PC and a PlayStation 5. And hell, a lot of games are cross generation.
It's really sad. There's just not much to
That's
talk
a
about with
balls.
Xbox.
That's a ballsy statement, Revolver. Good God, that's a ballsy statement. This man said he would rather burn his money
Mhm.
than buy an Xbox. At least buying an Xbox, you have the potential to sell that bitch for like at least half.
Who gonna buy it from you?
Shut the hell up. That's not the fucking.
that's what you're doing. You're just burning money by buying an Xbox. Shit.
Yeah, but I'd rather spend it than literally burn it. I feel like that's worse.
Nah,
I mean,
I
it
feel
ain't like a liquid. Well, it's not like an asset that's gonna appreciate in value.
All
Like,
right, all right. Well, actually, it could if you leave it in box.
who gonna buy it?
yeah. 10 years from now, you'll be like, I got an Xbox Series X completely sealed.
Yeah, those do go for decent prices. The problem is that thing would never be played.
Like, you
That-
better
that-
sell
that-
it to like one of them game historians or something, where it's like, I need to have every system that has ever existed
Yeah, but you brought the
for
weight.
the sake of it.
I think it had to be like 20 years before it really hit its like worth it era.
Yo, you got to think about how bad this is too. That we're sitting here going like, can it appreciate in value if we don't use it as intended? Like that's the level we're at right now.
I mean, it's just a sad state of affairs. I feel like, unfortunately, I feel like we've come to the point where we've exhausted this to death. And
Yeah, that's pretty sad, dog.
I think we've hit the wall in terms of really how much commentary you can put on it. Because the reality is that the reality is that Microsoft has the ability to be great, but they're struggling to do that, in which case makes it unappealing to buy your system. That's the way I'm gonna sum this up. They have the potential, they don't have the drive to make it work.
Man, all I know is Zelda's coming out, Spider-Man's coming out this year, and Xbox is like, they're dead.
Do you believe Xbox has a potential even now?
If they make the right move.
Arguably, yes, but it's going to require a major shakeup. And also, that's still implying they have games ready for this year, because time doesn't stop moving.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, if you don't have games ready for this year, which it kind of feels like they don't, because, it's...
I was just asking for the sake of clarification, because you said you believe Xbox has potential, and I was just like,
oh, no,
are you looking at...
It does. It does have potential. It just depends on the competence of their leaders and the decisions they go for.
Yeah, I guess that's where we are.
Yeah, I think I'm bummed out. I don't want to do this no more.
It's your show, big dog. What you want to do?
Listen, we've already hit the 2-hour mark anyway, and that's usually my limit for streams. And that'd be real here. The Xbox the Xbox talk is essentially devolved into, well, this is some bull, but like, what? Let's give you a bunch of hypotheticals and how it could not possibly be bull, and you're just like.
So now we know.
And now it's like, what's the probability of those things coming true? Oh, it's extremely low.
Now we know Xbox leads to depression. That's sad.
Hey yo, if we just buy it and we put it in like a vacuum sealed bag.
Who got a good number? Who got a good number for a therapist? Hold on. I'm about to go.
So if you are an Xbox gamer, man, get you a therapist and then get you a PC.
I'm looking right now. I'm looking for a therapist right now in this bitch. Hold on. Doctor.
Microsoft has invested in e-therapy.
Hey, they might need it.
Tell me, how do you feel? Xbox Series X is trash. Oh damn, you must be like a 1 right now.
I guess you don't want Microsoft Excel then.
All right, I'm cutting it off. I'm cutting it off. That's it. This man said Microsoft Excel. I'm done with it. Listen, ladies and gentlemen, listen. Thank you for watching. I very much appreciate it. I very much appreciate the love and support, the viewers. I hope if nothing else, you got some kicks out of the conversation and this man's ungodly attempted humor. Fuck him. We love Ursa Ringer, but God fucking damn it. Don't worry about it. Tomorrow we're streaming Elden Ring on the Twitch channel, twitch.tv/The Insane Game Freak. So please go over there and subscribe to the channel. Ursa Ring, that pissed me off so bad.
Hey man, that's what I'm here for. Sometimes I need somebody to troll.
Thank you. Thank you, Prince Revolver.
It was a pleasure. Thank you for having me.
Hey man, he said it. I didn't say it.
No, but thank you both for engaging in this entertaining discussion.
I mean, if that's what you want to call it, we just.
Oh my God! Listen. I'm done. All right, listen, everybody have a wonderful night. Meet me back on the Twitch tomorrow night at 10 p.m. Eastern, and we will indulge in some Elden Ring where I'll die a lot, even more than usual. Yeah, I think I'm done with this shit because he fucking ruined me on this. So I will end it like this. Like it's a game. Play to win. Remember to wash your motherfucking hands. And Ursa Ringer is a dickhead. Good night, everybody.
Peace, y'all.
fucking terrible, bro.